Serendipity in the Bookstore, a charming exchange between Carol and Edward. Chapter 11, Across the Miles, Love and Sacrifice in Echoes of Tales. The Test of Distance. After months of blissful nights filled with laughter and shared stories at the Echoes of Tales bookstore, a new chapter was about to unfold for Carol and Edward. Carol received a career-changing opportunity to work abroad for a year in Paris, an offer she could not turn down. The night before her departure was filled with mixed emotions as the reality of their impending separation began to sink in. Edward's support. Edward, his heart heavy with both pride and sorrow, knew the importance of this opportunity for Carol. "You have to take this chance, Carol. I'll be here, cheering for you every step of the way," he assured her, his voice steady over the phone as they prepared for their new reality. The sacrifice was clear. They had to endure time apart to support each other's dreams. Long-distance calls, their daily routines transformed into eagerly awaited video calls. One evening, under the warm glow of a Parisian street lamp, Carol dialed Edward via Skype, her face lighting up the screen in front of him. "I walked past this little bookshop on Rue de Lille today, and it reminded me so much of our Echoes of Tales," Carol shared, her voice a bittersweet melody of love and longing. Edward's surprise. "I've been keeping a little secret," Edward confessed during one of their nightly calls. He had started a blog documenting their love story, intertwined with literary reviews and personal anecdotes from their bookstore. "I wanted to keep our story going, even if we're miles apart," he revealed. The blog, named Pages Between Us, quickly gained followers who were captivated by their romance and the magical world of books they cherished. Reunion and promise. Months passed, and the day of Carol's return approached. Edward planned a surprise at the bookstore. As Carol walked in, tired yet exhilarated, she found Edward surrounded by their friends and a special setup for a welcome-back storytelling session. The theme was reunions, and every tale spun that night reflected journeys of love, separation, and joyful returns. Under the stars. Later they stepped outside, under the familiar gaze of the stars above Echoes of Tales. Edward handed Carol another wrapped gift, a first edition of a book they had once talked about owning. "For our next chapter, right here with you," he whispered. Carol, overwhelmed with joy and relief at being reunited, realized how their love had not only endured, but had grown. "Every story does indeed have its twists, but ours is my favorite," she murmured, her hand tightly clasped in Edward's. Continuing the journey. With Carol back, the promise of new stories awaited them both. They knew that whatever challenges came their way, their love, anchored by the bookstore and the tales within, would guide them through. "To our next chapter may it be as adventurous and enchanting as the last," Carol toasted, the bookstore softly echoing with the laughter and chatter of the community they had built together, rediscovering home. In the weeks following Carol's return, the Echoes of Tales bookstore became a sanctuary, not just for them, but for all who stepped through its doors. Carol, inspired by her experiences abroad, proposed a new series of community events titled Literary Landscapes, where travelers shared stories from bookshops around the world, each tale a thread in the vibrant tapestry of global culture. Edward, always supportive, helped orchestrate these events, finding joy in seeing Carol so animated and engaged. The bookstore buzzed with excitement, drawing in crowds eager to participate in these unique cultural exchanges. Deepening bonds. As autumn rolled into the quaint town, the crisp air and golden leaves brought a season of reflection and gratitude. Carol and Edward spent evenings rearranging the bookstore, adding sections for international authors, and creating cozy nooks for readers to lose themselves in foreign worlds. One evening, as they laid down a new rug they'd picked out together, Carol paused and looked around at the transformed space, her heart full. "Do you remember the first time we walked in here together?" she asked Edward, a nostalgic smile playing on her lips. Edward nodded, his eyes reflecting the soft lamplight. "How could I forget? It feels like both yesterday and a lifetime ago." They shared a quiet moment, the kind that feels like a deep breath, a reaffirmation of every decision that led them to this point. To many more years of stories and transformations in this little corner of the world that's all ours. Carol raised her glass later that night, during a small gathering of close friends and regulars. Laughter and toasts filled the room, a warm echo of the life they'd cultivated together. To be continued, Edward whispered to Carol, a promise of endless possibilities in the chapters of their lives yet to be written. See you next week, Saturday, same time 0900 U.S. Central Time. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow us. Thank you for watching my series.